What's up, you guys? It's Graham here. So after the popularity of one of my last videos, I lost everything in cryptocurrency, which by the way was an April Fool's joke, and I apologize to anybody who got upset or offended by that video. But I thought I would at least use this as an opportunity to discuss why crypto prices are declining, what we could see going forward, and potentially what we can learn from this. And before all of my non-crypto subscribers click out of this video, just trust me, give this one a chance, because I promise it is going to apply to other investments as well. Just trust me on this one. And as always, just remember, I am not a crypto channel. I very rarely make videos about cryptocurrency, but when I do, I really like to go in depth talking about investor psychology and trends that could apply to just about any other investment out there. And just so we get this out of the way, I do have a bit invested in cryptocurrency. It's not a ton. I invested an amount where if it goes to zero, I don't care. If it goes up 500%, it's not going to be life-changing money to me, so I'm pretty neutral on this entire topic. And when I put money in cryptocurrency, it was really done from the perspective of just having fun and trying it out firsthand. So when I come at this video, it's coming from a purely logical standpoint without any emotions or biases in this whatsoever. So I think it's pretty safe to say that we've come quite a long ways from the days when cryptocurrency would drive up in price like 50% and people were making mad profits every single day. Like, everyone was talking about it at this time. I remember on my channel, I can make a video about cryptocurrency and within 2 days, it's already at like 20,000 views, which is a ton for a channel like mine, just because it was such a trendy topic at the time. But now that the trend has died down, so have the prices. Or actually, if we flip that, the prices have died down, therefore the trend has died down. Now, it might be really crude to call cryptocurrency trendy, but when you have a coin going up in value 400% in a week, that's rarely to do with the fundamentals of the coin changing and everything to do with that coin being the hot new coin that people are going to strike riches on. Trends like this create massive opportunities, but with an equal amount of risk associated with that. See, anytime you look at an investment, it's really important to understand the fundamentals of why it's worth the price it's currently trading at. Like, for an example, when you buy real estate, you're buying a tangible building built of certain materials on land you can develop, and it's really easy to evaluate the cost of the home by estimating the cost to rebuild that same structure or by its income potential. So it's pretty safe to say, based off all of these factors, this home is worth this price. And the same thing applies to stocks as well, because you can invest in a company that produces goods or services that post profit and loss statements, and you can invest based off whether or not you see their growth continuing. From the way I see it with cryptocurrency, it's really difficult to give it any sort of accurate valuation like you can with stocks or real estate. Just like giving a brand new tech company a valuation at ICO, much of it lies in our own interpretation of what we think it's worth. Like, you gotta think, what is the technology worth and how much does it cost to mine, and what is the actual real world utility value of it, and also how many people know about it and where's the potential to monetize and make money. Cryptocurrency turned out to be its own market that was extremely difficult to value because ultimately it was a currency, so it had to test different levels of supply and sustainability in terms of what it was actually worth. If anyone ever tells you that Bitcoin is worth 100,000 or 50,000 or 1,000 or 500, ultimately they're all just guessing. The reality here is that it's impossible to predict or give a valuation on cryptocurrency prices beyond looking at patterns and trying to find support and resistance levels to prices we've previously hit. And even that has its own flaws because ultimately that's not the most predictable way of valuing something. The thing with cryptocurrency is, just like any other investments out there, including stocks and real estate, I believe we naturally have the tendency to overestimate how high we think something is going to go and underestimate how long it's going to take us to fundamentally get there. And the problem that we ended up seeing with cryptocurrency is that we ended up seeing mass appreciation in price without the mass adoption of real world utility. This is why I believe it became a get rich quick hype, which isn't the intention at all of cryptocurrency. In reality, if cryptocurrency is ever going to be sustainable and adopted on a mass level and actually work, it cannot have insane price swings of even more than 1/5 of 1% in a day. Like, imagine the US dollar or any currency, for instance, fluctuating as much as cryptocurrency does. A loaf of bread one day might cost $2 and then $7 the next and then $10 the next and then 50 cents the next day. That's just not sustainable. So for everyone out there who really wants cryptocurrency to work, it cannot have that extreme volatility in price, and it cannot really be speculated on such a large scale. It needs to be at a point where the current value matches the utility use of it in its present day for it to really be sustainable and work. And I'm actually really bullish on cryptocurrency long term, and I think it's going to be around for quite some time. But which ones are really going to survive and take off, like the Amazons of the tech bubble, are really just a total shot in the dark at this point. And I also think it's way too early right now to tell which ones are going to be successful and which ones are just going to be total pieces of shit. Like, I would say probably 90% of cryptocurrency out there is just totally worthless. And I actually found it really interesting that besides the internet and cryptocurrency, railways and radio went through the same exuberant excitement and bubble right before they went mainstream. And honestly, sometimes I think bubbles are actually a good thing because it gets people talking about something and investing in something and looking into something and seeking new opportunities that they would otherwise ordinarily overlook. And yes, I definitely understand that a lot of capital was also lost at the same time, but the money that was invested ended up creating some really cool technology that we can use moving forward in other opportunities. And anytime you invest in something, it's really important to be able to distinguish the difference between buying on fundamentals and buying on speculation. There's a constant balance between the amount of profit you can make and the amount of risk associated with that profit. It's a constant balancing pendulum between risk and reward. So before I go off on too long of a tangent here, the reason I believe crypto prices are going down is purely based on lack of media attention and lack of excitement. And the lack of media excitement and the lack of attention is just because prices go down, so it's a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point. The thing with crypto is that when people are losing money, it's not really an exciting thing to cover, and it no longer becomes a topic that people really want to talk about. And for some people that ended up losing money, they're just very discouraged from reinvesting back into something like that. From the way I see it, this is really just how simple it is. Now, of course, one could argue that government intervention could have something to do with it, and yes, I do believe that has an impact on cryptocurrency prices, but we all knew the government was eventually going to try to regulate it, so I believe at the same time some of that was already baked into the existing price. And even with Facebook banning cryptocurrency ads, to be honest, those ads were the scummiest, slimiest ads I have ever seen to promote bullshit ICOs, to try to make profit on unsuspecting people who have no idea what they're reading. So from that perspective, I actually think it's a good thing that Facebook is no longer supporting cryptocurrency ads. So largely between December and now, the fundamentals of these coins really hasn't changed at all, but the media hype and perception has. This leads me to think that if you're an investor right now and you're considering selling, you have to think to yourself, did I invest based off the fundamentals, and have the fundamentals of this changed? And if the answer is no, then you have to think to yourself, did I maybe buy based off hype and excitement? And if so, I need to evaluate whether or not this is something worth holding on to or getting rid of. Anytime you buy something based off fundamentals, price fluctuations like this will not phase you because you bought it for a reason and the fundamentals have not changed. Just like if you bought with hype and excitement, you have to ask yourself, at this current price, what I want to invest my money right now. And unfortunately, what ended up happening was that Bitcoin was never really worth $20,000 to begin with. And then it really just becomes a game of chairs to try to sell for the highest price that someone else is willing to pick up. And then eventually someone is going to be left losing without a chair. And this isn't to say that Bitcoin one day couldn't be worth $100,000 or $1 million. If you tell me, 30 years from now it's going to be worth $1 million, honestly, I wouldn't be totally shocked. But right now, fundamentally, I can't see anything that would justify extremely high prices. And just for the record here, I have no idea on the real world value of cryptocurrency, and I have absolutely no way to measure that. Even at these prices, I have a really hard time investing anything that I'm not prepared to lose, just because I don't know at which price someone is willing to pay for a certain cryptocurrency a week from now or a month from now or even a year from now. And before anyone says, but Graham, you invested in Bitcoin when it was $17,000. Just want to clear this up. I ended up buying Bitcoin at $16,700. I ended up selling it shortly after for about $17,000. I then ended up playing around with Ethereum and Litecoin for a little bit, and then I ended up selling all of it to invest in Ryblox, which is now Nano, in between $2 and $4. And then I decided to throw a little bit more money into it when I was at about $17. So right now, between those two investments, I'm pretty much even in Nano, and I'm just holding on to it and haven't really made money at this point, haven't lost it. And yes, I should have sold when that hit $37 on January 1st. Oh well. And I also invested money I did not need that was basically, am I going to go to Vegas and blow it at a casino a few times, or am I going to invest in crypto? And my choice was, instead of Vegas, I'm just going to put it in crypto. But one of the points I want to make here is that a lot of people unfortunately did end up investing a lot of money that they could not afford to lose because they got caught up in the hype and watching what other people were doing and seeing other people's success stories. Like, I'm not going to lie, I even had a friend who ended up buying a brand new matte black Lamborghini Huracan because one of his altcoins just ended up exploding out of nowhere, and he didn't invest even that much money. And I'm not gonna lie, I looked at that and I thought, you know what? I could risk a few $1,000s here to potentially make $400,000 or $500,000. It seems like a pretty good return. He did it. What's to stop me from doing it? And that's where the problem really lies. The problem is when someone jumps into something without fully understanding what they're jumping into with money that they cannot risk and money that they really end up needing. And it also really hurts people to listen to somebody who may or may not have their best interest at heart. And this is the point of the video that I end up getting really nerdy because I love psychology and I also love applying psychology to investments. And this is one thing I noticed with the whole cryptocurrency craze is that people just naturally wanted to discredit any information that goes against what they want to believe. And this created a confirmation bias because they would only listen to people who said what they wanted to hear. This is really an amazing thing of the mind, to only rationalize the information they want to believe and then tune out everything else that doesn't align with that. And it's very, very easy to believe that anybody can strike rich in crypto and that the one cryptocurrency you bought is going to be better than everything else. It's also really easy with the help of the internet to seek out groups and information that just align with what you want to hear, which further just perpetuates this effect. You can literally find entire communities focused around certain philosophies or beliefs that just create an echo chamber-like effect that just reaffirm everything you want to hear, whether it's right or wrong. And the same thing is also true on YouTube. Let's say you watch one video about Bitcoin and then a second later, a bajillion other videos also come up on the exact same topic. This just really creates a cocoon of information where the consensus really just lines up with what you want to watch. But honestly, this type of tunnel vision of information is not uncommon and all of us are guilty of it, but it is important to realize when this is going on. And it's also important to realize that sometimes these confirmation biases aren't all bad. For instance, you can have a confirmation bias that because people grew up in the ghetto, for instance, that they have the drive to be successful, and if that applies to you, you believe that because you have a drive, you can be wildly successful. Just like you can have the confirmation bias that it takes money to make money, or that all rich people are assholes looking to like take advantage of you, you can have a confirmation bias that works for you or against you. And as we go deeper down the psychological rabbit hole of investing, this is why it's so important to be aware of our subconscious thoughts and just be cognizant of any time we think we're closing ourselves off to different information or viewpoints or perspectives. And if you take anything from this video, I hope it would be this. If you ever believe something is going to be risk-free, is going to be easy, and the returns are going to be incredible, the answer is it's not. And that's a very hard pill for many people to swallow, that success is not quick, easy, and immediate. And finally, anytime you're investing in something, it's really important just to take a step back. Anytime you end up getting emotional about an investment that you make, you either didn't have the risk tolerance you thought you did, you invested more money than you could afford to lose, or you didn't do enough research to feel comfortable about what you were investing in the first place. Okay, so I rambled long enough. I had no idea how long this video is going to be. I got wildly off topic, but I hope you guys actually enjoyed a bit of this rant, and I hope it was helpful. I don't know how much I talked about cryptocurrency, but I hope that with this video, it would apply to just about anything else other than cryptocurrency too. So anyway, if you made it all the way through, if you like it, make sure to comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. If you agree with me or disagree with me or whatever you want to say, comment it down below. I read every single comment and I do my best to reply to as many as I can. So make sure to comment down below. Also, if you've enjoyed this video and you watched it all the way through and you haven't already subscribed yet, because something like 56% of you guys watching are not subscribed, make sure just to hit the subscribe button. It's right there. It's right, your thumb is like, or your little finger is, whatever it is, it's right there. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and also feel free to add me on Snapchat and Instagram. Post are pretty much daily, so if you want to be a part of it there, feel free to add me there. Thank you again for watching, and until next time.